Wow, this is a subtle way of every brown guy showing his showing that he's been working out.
Oh, this? No, I haven't touched weights in like several years. I'm afraid of going to the gym at this point because I know that whatever I pick up is going to be half of whatever the youngest guy next to me does, and I just don't feel like. You ever get that where you go to the gym and you're like, "Yo, I don't want to try and compete with this guy. There's just no winning."
Back when I was a kid, there was a code in the gym that if you're not the most jacked guy, you can't wear a banana.
No, it's a banana. I thought it was not the Superman shirt.
Or Superman shirt. But no, they don't care about that code anymore. Today I saw the skinniest dude wearing a banana and working out. That didn't fly back in the day.
Was it the red Cherry Hill banana?
No. A typical white banana, man, that you wear underneath a shirt.
It's
like trying to pull that jailhouse look, but you can't do it. You can't.
You gotta appreciate the confidence to some degree, no?
No, man. There's unwritten rules that everybody knows. You just follow them.
I've always avoided wearing the Superman shirt because I knew I wasn't the biggest guy in the gym.
Yeah, you got to be the most jacked, biggest guy. Then you can rock that.
The Superman shirt has like a code. But yeah, I see some people not following it. They're rocking their Punisher shirts. And I'm like, dude, you're not the fucking Punisher. Take that shit off. I feel very insulted. It's like stolen valor to some degree.
What are you wearing to the gym?
I'm wearing skin tight, friggin' latexy, making holy shit. You guys, the other day, it's been pretty hot out here, right? Pretty hot out here. I was sitting outside just on the patio. I get up, go inside. I look in the mirror. I got friggin' like sweat gland underneath on my shirt from underneath my breast. Like I had boob sweat. I was like, what the fuck is going on in life right now? I was so embarrassed.
I wear loose clothes, but I have compression everything because I'm broken. I need like compression on my knee, my elbows, everything. Compression for everything.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about?
It's about nothing.
Just want these guys to know you got another thing coming, bitch. I'm still around.
Yo, you're competing this week in the Councilor Cup thing, aren't you?
Yeah, yo.
No way, you're.
Yeah, how old are you? Aren't you like done past your prime? Time to hang it up, creating the new generation.
Yeah. There's new generation on my team, and I hope they do all the running and don't have to play that many minutes. That's where I'm at. I used to hog minutes, and now I don't want to play that much. And you're gonna probably be there cutting ribbons or something, Guru. Oh yeah, we should probably introduce Guru. Guru's here.
Oh yeah,
that'd be nice to introduce our illustrious guest that's joined us this week.
Yeah,
our regional councillor from wards 9 and 10, Gurpartap Singh. How's it going?
All good. Thank you for having me.
Wait, can we say Guru? Is that just are we allowed to say Guru now?
I tried to.
In some circles, you're known as that.
Good story about that. I never chose that name. That was when people couldn't say my name, and they just took that as my name. So now I'm kind of like, you know what? Like I'm in a position now where I'm like, you could just say my name, and then people do say the name like perfectly fine.
I mean, it's not a hard name, but I felt like it's an easy.
I just thought it was your short family name.
Yeah, it's
no.
The easiest name.
At home, nobody calls me that. Nobody in my family calls me that.
All right. Now I gotta say multiple. I'm joking. Gurpartap Singh.
All right, good. Yeah, so welcome. Thank you for risking your political career by joining us. We appreciate it.
We hope it's a long one.
I actually had a question. How are you adjusting to the political lifestyle?
The political lifestyle. It like so in 2014 when I was working for Linda, it was pretty much the hours were the same, as in like just be with the mayor like 24/7, like weekends, events, and this and that. It wasn't as intense. Like the intensity has gone up, and obviously when you're in the driver's seat, then you make a mistake now, you gotta wear it. Whereas my boss would make a mistake, and it's my boss's mistake, not mine. That's the difference. So the intensity's gone up. But it's better than like provincial or federal levels. I'm at home every night, so I can't complain, man. Like you choose this life, you can't complain. But it's fun. The best part is meeting people on the weekends. As much as like it gets hectic, like trying to go place to place to place, but it's like you get to see all these people and you get to hear about things, positive, negative, everything. The The worst part is actually just wearing a suit all the time.
You know, you don't have to wear the suit all the time. We saw that change in Oshawa, was it? Or Whippy, one of those counselors was like,
guy.
I ain't rocking a suit no more. Screw this shit.
Still bringing up that old story.
That guy's my hero. I want more people like that guy where he's just like walking around in track pants to council meetings. Like,
No, that's like Rob Ford. Do you remember when he wore the red sweatsuit?
No, but there
Canadian
is
heritage
no
moment.
unwritten rule. There's no rule that you have to. It's just perception. Like I have
Yeah.
an office that I don't go to, but I need to have an office because I'm a lawyer.
No,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's
Gurpartap,
whether
are you gonna come to my office opening in a whole different city? Is that allowed?
100%, 50-kilometer radius. I'll come.
All right, sick.
But no, I think it's people take you more seriously. Like this last weekend, on Saturday I was suited. On Sunday I wasn't because I was like half my day was with family and half wasn't. And I was in t-shirts and jeans, and like in a t-shirt and jeans, and I was at places and I was in the crowd. Like people wouldn't know that it was me. Like people don't recognize nothing, and you're just standing there, which is kind of nice too. But then when I'm in the photos, I'm the only guy wearing a t-shirt. So
Yo, I'm gonna give you a suggestion for weekends: golf gear, because it's much more comfortable in a suit, and it looks like you just finished golfing, and people can respect it on a weekend.
yeah,
Easy
that's.
buy.
and you're probably gonna
You
get
just-
invited to golf, so you may as well make sure you know how to golf.
Yeah.
No,
I can start doing that once I start fixing my physical health at the gym. Then I can start wearing t-shirts. Right now I can't risk it. Otherwise I'm gonna have to start wearing.
Yeah, I wear the compression,
get,
everything. I know what
Might
you're
get
talking
boob
about.
sweat.
Yeah.
It's the boob sweat.
Can't risk it. Can't risk it.
all I'm
The
saying is
suit, I-
just don't wear a Superman shirt to the gym. Is all I'm asking. But one thing you talked about is your weekends are basically going around taking pictures, you know, shaking hands. Are Punjabi politicians specifically more or less influencers to that regard? Because their Instagram is in demand. Everyone you meet, everything you go to, you got to post that on Instagram. You got to story it, maybe even make it a post. Is there like an etiquette of what gets elevated from a story to what gets elevated to like a post?
Ooh. Story is like just like showing like behind the scenes or like, I'm here quick like opening of this thing or this and that. At least like this is my rule. The story is like just your general day. Any photo you could throw down the story if it's a good photo, not a good photo, whatever. Story because you can't see it after 24 hours. The post is something that you want to inform people about. Not that, hey, look, I opened this bake shop. It's more like, look, Lululemon's coming to our city.
Mm.
It's more like something that people want to go back and still look at versus like stories. It's like, hey, look, mom and pop shop here, or there's a barbecue and the picnic, or there's a condo pot, somebody got married. Hey, congratulations! Like that's it. That story.
You know, I can't. Just a thought occurred. Desi politicians, I think,
Mhm.
have a harder weekend schedule than non-Desi politicians. That's my take.
I
You
would
mean
say
you mean they work on weekends?
Yeah.
They have to. It's not a
Yeah,
natural.
dude.
100%.
I feel like Mully started it, and now everyone's just like expected to like. They're like, this is what Mully did. He was at every account park. You could have 10 weddings on a weekend, but you got to go to all 10. And Mully set that bar. And now I feel like every Desi politician after that has to like keep that pace.
There's like two ways to look at it. I think, right? Like one is it kind of like feeds your own ego. You're like, I'm at every place giving a certificate, giving a plaque, and like taking photos. And that's the part that I try to tell myself, like, not going to that. But the good part is that instead of having to call 50 people on the weekend, like just pick up the phone and call this uncle or that auntie or this guy or that girl, you could just show up to one event and you just see everybody at the same place. So you're just doing like quick check-ins. Like it's a good pulse check, right? Like if I went to a wedding, I see all the people there. And they could either tell me like, hey, this week was amazing. We saw the news about this or that. Or they could complain and say, hey, the weeds in the park is out of control, this and that. You just get a good pulse check out of it. Instead of making all the phone calls, like one event could do all of that.
That's fair, but I mean, going back to like the original thought, you end up doing that. There's a benefit to you, but let's say some of your colleagues who aren't Desi, they're not. That expectation's not there. They're not getting invited out. Are they making those calls? Maybe the good ones are, but a lot aren't.
You get caught in the
Do your job. There's an expectation. I don't know.
no, you get caught in the bubble. Like then you're just hearing from people that like you, they're calling you. Versus like we go out, like if there's something that people don't like, they'll just tell it to our face. Like they never hold back. They will tell you to your face like, yo, this is messed up.
So what's up with all these dandelions in Brampton? What?
Dandelions across, I would say, Ontario. So this is the season right now. May to June is when they're like seeding and flowering and this and that. So you'll see a lot of them come up. But in Ontario now, we've stopped using weedicide, herbicides, all of that. Because again, like if you want it, your kids are gonna grow up with like cancer down the road. So it's like pick and choose, and that's why people aren't doing that. So our how we control it is basically lawn maintenance. Like you just gotta go cut it often. And this time our park, I'll be honest, we did get a lot of complaints. This time around, this is a new contractor. We got way too many complaints. But this week they've caught up and they've gone to like almost every park in our area and got them cleaned.
And they brought it up because the lawn is shit.
I literally just mowed. I got my kid.
They're matching your.
My kid wanted to mow the lawn, like he wanted to push the lawnmower, and he kind of did a good chunk of it. I was like, "All right, one more year, and this is all you. I don't even got to touch this again."
I think company have I don't care. I need the weeds gone no matter what approach to this, because when people go to the States,
they bring back the
American
Roundup.
Yeah. It's like, yo, I don't think this is allowed. Something called, what is it? No, there's some random.
I know there was one we came back, and I was like,
weed be gone. Yeah, their weed be gone. We have weed
more concentrated.
But theirs is different.
They got a little higher potency.
Yeah,
it's a little more functional.
Ours actually doesn't even work on the weed because the weed's adapted to it now. Like it doesn't even work on it. So like the grass that you see got nothing on it, guaranteed they're bringing from the States.
Yo,
or they're just like
don't hate the game, all right? I'm trying to go for that best lawn in the neighborhood.
I've given up on the lawn, man. My neighbor's moving, and so I'm like worried about my lawn's future because he's been taking care of the front part for both of us because a bit of it's shared. And now once he's gone, I'm doomed. But
I would say the interesting thing is though, I realized when I moved to Canada and the United States are probably the only countries that at least I see or have been to where there's a lawn. Like people don't keep grass anywhere else. Like you're just watering it like no tomorrow. You're mowing it using gas. It's like the least eco-friendly thing you could have.
I mean, it's only a matter of time. The more and more houses that we see coming up, our lawn is like eliminated. The backyards are getting cemented. The front is almost entirely like either stoned or.
But looking at like Kariai grass, it's calming. It's no different than having a house in the middle of the Cape, right? It's the green. It's a calming effect on you. But yeah, grass. You're right. It's a North American thing.
But it's becoming less and less in Brampton. Like the houses and like the width between the houses is getting so little that it's just there. Every backyard now, cement is becoming like the go-to.
Plus, you can just put chairs and barbecue and call the boys.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that on grass, I guess, to a degree, but definitely. What's another thing? Turf's be taken off now too.
What is
turf?
Yeah,
artificial. Yeah.
Artificial, which is dope.
Helps pets. Your pets won't bring back any mud.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any pets, so I don't even know. I'm still away from the pets. Actually, okay, so I want to quickly get you to talk about something that you probably have intimate knowledge on.
Yeah.
So you
want the dirty secrets. You want the real stuff.
So you're a regional councillor. We're getting rid of the region. Does that mean your job's at stake here? What's going on? What's going on with this whole region thing?
It could be, man. Anything could happen. So I'll give you the quick recap on what happened. So I think last week or the week before on a Thursday, the province brought forward this act. Steve Clark is the Minister for Municipal Affairs. Brings forward this legislation at Queen's Park. It's called the Hazel-McCallion Act, or it's called Bill 112. So they call it the Hazel-McCallion Act because Hazel's been like for 20, 30 plus years just saying that Mississauga should be its own city, it shouldn't be part of the region. Also, actually, I should say region appeal is Brampton, Mississauga, and Caledon under the region appeal. So Hazel always believed that Mississauga should be independent. We shouldn't share any services with Brampton or Caledon. We shouldn't, our taxpayers shouldn't, give them any money, this and that. So it's kind of like her, I would say also in a way, like her dying wish, because Bonnie Crombie, the mayor of Mississauga, went to her funeral and actually said it at the funeral that the last thing Hazel Bacallion told me is that Mississauga should be independent, which I doubt would be the last thing somebody would say, but apparently that's the last thing Hazel McCallion said before she passed away, only to Bonnie Crombie. And she's been knocking at the door of the province saying, hey, we need to be independent. So Hazel McCallion Act basically says that January 1st, 2025, there will no longer be a region appeal. And they're going to appoint a 5-member panel to do a review and make the whole thing happen. But basically what it means is starting January 1st, 2025, no more region appeal, which could mean that Brampton, Mississauga, and Caledon would be independent. Could mean a whole bunch of things. Could also mean that Caledon might have to join other municipalities because they don't have any services of their own, like even less than what Brampton has. But on our council table, right now we have 10 councillors, 1 mayor. Every 2 wards have 2 councillors. So we could go to 1 ward, 1 councillor. We could look at changing boundaries. I don't know how all of that works out, depending on whatever review the province takes and whatever answer they give us on that.
When they talk about split, are they also talking about splitting up like the Peel Police?
So that's the biggest concern, right? Because Region Peel has few services. Peel Police is the biggest budget item. This year, their budget was $1.3 billion. Billion with a B.
Damn.
$1.3 billion was the police budget. That's the largest budget. That's the same size of budget as the city of Brampton as a whole. So that's how big the police budget is. And so you can imagine how big the regional budget is. Regional budget is around the $5 billion mark. So they control the water supply, the water that you get in your taps, the sewer water, storm water, waste pickup, all that stuff. Peel Paramedics comes under that. So and affordable housing, public housing, shelters. So I would say like any critical service that you can imagine, like any service you can't go a day without, like that function, other than your hydro, which is by Electra, everything comes from the region appeal. Like the city does your planning, your roads, everything else, and you have some room to play with, but regional services are like you need it every single day. So those critical services all together with the region, Brampton, Mississauga, and Caledon fund it, and they share it. They share the cost of servicing, all of that. So with no more region appeal, who has control over what? Like, is Brampton going to have its own water facility? Are we going to have our own waste management facility? Like everything, all these costs add up. Like we did a rough math on it. If we needed our own waste management or water waste management facility, we're talking like a $4 billion cost. For a water treatment plant, we're talking about $1 billion. Like you could, like everything is in billions, right? In today's costs. So our demand right now to the province is that you got to make us whole. Like sure, like take away the region appeal, but all the services we're gonna need, and if we're gonna split the services, you got to fund Brampton for it. Like Brampton's got to do that, and plus we're asking Mississauga to pay their share. Like we've put money into their development now, and now it's our turn to get developed. So whatever they would have owed us, they need to pay us as well at the same time. But I'm like, just be mindful of the fact that the province could go out and spend, like Brampton could come up with a bill of $10 billion to get us to where we are today. Like you're still gonna wake up on January 1st, 2025, open the tap, and you're still just gonna get water. But it would have cost you $10 billion as a whole just to get that, right? Which you already do. So it's like you take $10 billion to do that, or you take $10 billion to like finish your hospital, start a third one, build the LRT, do this, do that, like so many infrastructure projects in that. Or you could just have $10 billion just to bring us to where we are today.
So
The expensive bill that the province is picking up just to make one city happy.
Yeah,
where's
so
Caledon in all this though? Because I hear like
that's the problem.
we want Mississauga to pay Brampton back, but what about Caledon? Is Caledon just like throw us a dime too?
Yeah, so Caledon, just I've only heard the mayor make the Caledon mayor make the comments at the press conference, but based on the press conference, she has full faith in the province of taking care of Caledon. So it'll be interesting what Caledon does. Whether there are rumors about them joining Vaughan or York Region, rumors about them going to Orangeville, Mono, put all those together. Anything could happen. Like this is on the province to figure out what the maps are going to be.
Is there any pros for Brampton?
100. The biggest pro is planning. We have a city level planning, and then we have a regional level of planning, because the city level takes care of like the building specs and what goes where, zoning, local roads, all of that. But the regional planning department takes care of like your underground infrastructure, where that's going to go, how much sewer capacity or water capacity you got. If it's a regional road, you need permissions. Like they have that portion of it, and they have their own official plans. So that duplication, like that too, it's not duplication, but it's like that extra level of red tape, it's gone. So we'll get full control over planning. So, like, I'll give you an example. Right now, we're working on a planning file, trying to get it done for this industrial development. They've been waiting for an email reply from the region for 3 months. If that was at the city of Brampton, like, they would have got the reply today. But we're just waiting because regional staff is overwhelmed with everything. Build 23, build more housing, all of that, and they have like 3 cities to talk to, versus us just talking to our own city. So I understand there's delays, but those delays add up, and like delays for industrial development is in millions, right? Like it's cost of business.
So it can all come down to Survivor, right? I was thinking about it this way too. A couple of years down line, you have all these alliances, right? You have this like de facto running mate during elections because you guys align on things. Like, yeah, we're buddies, and all of a sudden, damn, one seat. Oh, kill this guy.
But you talked
Who
about
knows
like
what's gonna happen? Yeah, the Dougler man, he's gonna put on a show. He's gonna take out
you make
people from
each
3 municipalities.
he's gonna make each city
They're up
really
against
big.
each other. Yeah.
Now, how much
Could
of
do
this do you think fell on like Bonnie Crombie seen as like the liberal threat provincially if she were to run and become leader of the party? How much of this could be like him saying, "Listen, let me appease you just a bit so you stay as mayor and lead the stay out of provincial."
So that's actually the rumor that we heard. The week that this happened on the Thursday. We started hearing rumors, I believe either on Monday or the Sunday, and that Bonnie's gonna run, the province is gonna come out and do something, and it like a lot of people do chat about it. They say that the province has done it just to keep Bonnie busy with the city so that she doesn't run for leadership, but this happens on a Thursday. The weekend goes by, and on Tuesday, Bonnie's on Breakfast TV, basically saying she's running. Like she hasn't made it official, but she's like teasing, and she's saying, "I've set up this committee to help me decide if I'm gonna run." And there's like every liberal you can imagine on that committee. She's basically running. Like her deadline is somewhere in September to enter her name, give the money to the party, all of that. But she's basically still running. So I don't know if that's like a fu to Doug Ford and the Conservatives, that hey, thank you, I got what I needed, fulfill the legacy of Hazel McCallion. She couldn't do it while she was alive. That was her death wish. I got it done. Pulls out this Superman T-shirt and says, "I'm gonna run for the."
Liberal.
But what if it backfires to that end where Doug's like, "Yeah, we're making Mississauga independent, and by the way, we're cutting all your services or all your funding for the next 3 years because we got to send it to Caledon and Brampton to make them whole."
Could be anything. Imagine she's the Ontario Liberal Party leader, and she's just opposing Doug Ford for the rest of the elections in 2026, right?
Yeah.
So 2025, this happens. There's like a year and a half for campaigning, and that year and a half, the province could go back and say anything. They could say that, hey, you know what, this is a bad idea. Maybe you shouldn't have this. Maybe you shouldn't have that. Start taking things away, saying, hey, look, Mississauga's falling apart. The mayor left you. She abandoned you. That kind of thing.
Funny enough, this was a weekend conversation at the wedding I was at. Shout out to my buddy. I'll just use the initials PS. We talked about it quite a bit. It looks bad for the Dougler because he gave Bonnie this gift. Okay, there were rumors. Let's go back further. There were rumors. Bonnie could be the next leader. Okay, a lot of names are thrown out. You know, they went to the Green Party, whatever. The Ontario's Liberals, they look so bad. They can't find a leader. It exposes like their lack of like grassroots organization, that they can't have leaders coming up. So, anyways, Bonnie is their savior, and she's like, "Nope, I'm not running." And then the Dougler gives her Mississauga as independent, right? Mississauga should be on its own. It's in the room. There's like news stories going around, and then boom, it drops. Mississauga is going to be
Like
on
that
its own. Yeah,
It's like that where the guy's like, call an ambulance. Not for me, for you.
exactly. She got him. Like she played political Olympics and won, or she outmaneuvered him 100%. That's a regular layman's take. And now, you know, he's got to wear this unda on his head for a bit. And you know what? You can make an omelet out of it, because now, if this 5-man committee is going to come out with a plan that this is how the region will be broken down and everything will be split up, something is not going to happen as intended. It's going to look bad. Okay. And whose plan was this? It's Doug's. And Bonnie is just going to get what she wants, independent Mississauga, and, you know, have fodder to attack the Dougler with, because he's going to give her something, because something's going to screw up in this whole breakup. There's no easy breakup. All breakups are bad.
Could there be another angle that's kind of what he wanted? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If he doesn't have a strong region of appeal, there's less obstacles in his way for development. And we're talking about Caledon and why they're not really fussed. If they get a brand new kind of highway going through their tract of land, there's no region to kind of oppose them. It makes it easier for him to get the development done. And in essence, Caledon will be developed around that new highway, so they will get infrastructure dollars.
No one's going against the highway, right? Am I wrong?
Paladin is.
Caledon is? Oh.
Yeah. But here's the interesting thing is like the fact that you brought this up, right? Like that takes away that layer, that hurdle for them to cross, to get highway done, planning done, get people to develop all of that, right? But at the same time, making independent cities, now you're dealing with like 3 mayors versus the rumor before this legislation was brought forward. The rumor was that they're going to make us one big city.
Amalgamation.
Amalgamation was the big word. Like I believed it.
Shinda, wait, time out. Shinda, say the word.
Amalgamation. Amalgamation. There we go. I've been practicing. Amalgamation.
He's on point today.
So if they made it like one mega city, now you only have to deal with one mayor and one council, right? So it makes it easy for the province. It's easier to deal with like 10 mayors versus like 50 mayors around the city, around the province, right? So that kind of made sense at that point.
Yeah, I just thought it. I thought it would just be. I thought it would be the other way. You know, divide and conquer. You know, if that's the approach, I just think Caledon's gonna be desperate. You know, if they don't get any kind of help from other cities, or if there's no real help from the province, or you're saying, you know, they're very confident in what the province will provide. What does that look like? What does it mean? For me, it's like, where does it leave Brampton? And we're stuck in between both of them. Right, we're stuck in between a rock and a hard place, if you will. Highways on top, and we got Mississauga below. Can we afford, as a city, to operate the way we are today at the current tax levels?
No way. Like if we need to build that infrastructure, those services, it's not even to scare people kind of thing. Like people are like, well, my taxes go up. So to fund the services that we already have and bring it to the level that we already have today, your property tax is probably gonna go up like 3,000%. Like that's just unrealistic, right? Like that's like the government saying, "Give me your house, give me your wife, give me your kids." Like not happening.
Sir, I can barely afford my property taxes. Is why you got to take everything else from me.
We're all moving. Okay.
Right? So it's like that's where we're like.
I'm feeling like Robbie right now.
We all agree.
Is it time to move?
So this is a W though, right, for Bonnie? Like every way she wins, and Dougler not so much.
Unless
I think Saga wins. Let's even forget their own interpersonal thing. Does Mississauga win? Is this a good deal for Mississauga?
I don't think so either. Because here's the problem, right? Like we think they're winning because this is what they wanted, right? But did they want the best thing for themselves? Like they could be independent. They still have more infrastructure than we do. Agreed. Like their bill isn't going to be that high, but still, the growth rate that the province has imposed on everybody and said, hey, you got to build these many houses, all of this. No more DCs, so you can't collect development charges. Now your services, like to some extent, they're gonna still have to make their services independent, right? Like they gotta do something with it. Like that's gonna be a big bill too. So like Mississauga's not gonna like walk away from here saying that we won and we have excess money sitting. Like if Mississauga had to, I would say get to where they have to get to. And again, don't quote me on this, although I guess I'm the inside source right now. But Mississauga had to get to wherever they are right now. Their property taxes more than 1,000, 2,000% too. Like so, it's like what are you gonna do? Right?
So why is amalgamation such a bad
Like
word?
you're moving, like Mississauga thinks they're moving into new house, but there's like no freaking furniture. Like you're still gonna buy it.
Grenades everywhere.
Yeah, but why are we afraid of amalgamation? Like, what if this 5-member panel goes back and says, yeah, instead of splitting this up, we found that if we join you guys, we can save billions of dollars, and that's the best interest in the Ontario taxpayer.
100%. They could easily make the math, and they could say that amalgamation is the best way forward. And
Aren't we the cousin Mississauga doesn't want?
hey,
Like no matter how much we try to propose it to them.
Listen. What if we say, you know what, Mississauga, you want to be independent? Go fuck yourself. Caledon, let's merge. Can't we do that?
Yeah, but does Caledon want to do that?
It's not our call.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
This is on the province. But here's the thing: we're the cousin that they don't want. Sadly, Malton is like the sibling they don't want. Like, so I'm like, give us Malton. Take us to Caledon, all 100% we'll take it. Give us the airport too. Throw that in.
You want to? Yeah, they're not going to give the airport.
I'm down.
That's too much revenue.
The airport's ours anyways, man.
Yeah, airport's pretty much ours. Let's face it. All the traffic from the airport's coming down airport road.
The taxes are going that way, right?
Regarding the airport, here's a fun fact. Bonnie keeps saying that all these years we funded Brampton. This is where a little bit of that, like you look at Brampton and you other it, you're like, that's the shitty part of the province, like throw all the garbage in there, all of that. Like that's how they try to portray Brampton all the time. And they're like, oh, we were helping Brampton this entire time. They didn't deserve any of this. Brampton taxpayers built all the roads around the airport. Those are all regional roads. So every time you paid $1 of tax, 44 cents went to the region. That paid for those roads. We built all the roads around the airport. There used to be a tax levy for the hospitals, like for a healthcare system back in the day. And when that healthcare system got built, guess where all those hospitals went? They went to Mississauga. So we funded. So like they're not even paying for our hospitals. We're paying for our own hospital, but we actually paid for their hospitals to get built. So like they could keep saying all that they want, but like you guys are saying, the airport, everything around it, built by our taxpayer dollars. The people that go work there, a lot of them, a big chunk of them comes from Brampton. Like GTAA is one of the largest employers for Brampton. That's outside of Brampton. We're probably the largest outside of Brampton. So the airport fundamentally, like if we had to go to war, like we go want to take it.
So we're gonna raise an army. This is the takeaway.
Raising army.
Raising army.
Everybody
seize Kabja.
Keep it marching.
You take Brampton versus Mississauga on a street fight for the airport. Brampton's on top.
Yeah, I want to take Malton and I want to take Streetsville. I'm sorry, but I want Streetsville too.
Yes.
It's nice.
Those are your two. Those are the two bits you want. The borders.
Just give us that. Port Credit is too much of a reach.
Yeah,
but
I don't even care for Port. Let the Etobicoke fight over Port Credit. That's not really in our. That's like
fair enough. I want Streetsville.
Hey, you guys just made me think. That would be nice if Etobicoke took that part of Mississauga. We take the top. Oakville comes take the west side.
So eliminate Mississauga altogether.
All of a sudden, they're like, you know what? We decided that rather than giving Mississauga its own distinct area code, what we're going to do is give Oakville, Etobicoke, and Brampton the bits and pieces they need, and Mississauga is no more. Thanks, Bonnie.
Wait,
that hospital thing's really sad, though. I mean, it's like, who was around when making those decisions and not kind of stamping their feet for years and years and years, and we keep going to all levels of government saying we need more hospitals. I mean, how did that?
So somebody DM'd me and explained what's going on in a way that I couldn't explain it. Like, you have the feeling inside,
Yeah.
you're not able to express it. Um, with this whole thing and how they look at Brampton and how even the media portrays Brampton and how Mississauga talks about Brampton, there's that sense, there's that classism, right? Like Brampton's second class. Like Brampton, you don't deserve this. Like you don't deserve another hospital. You don't deserve good services. Like you guys deserve like the leftovers, right? Like that's the kind of narrative that even Mississauga comes with. Mississauga's like, we made you, we made you. Like, no, you didn't. Like people from Brampton made you, in fact, right? Like there's a lot of that stigma around things. Like even now when they talk about it, like, we all joke about it, right? We're saying like Brampton's the cousin that Mississauga doesn't want, but like freaking hell, like look at Brampton. Like I get it, we have our problems, but you look at GTA as the same problems. Like we're not much different than like the same problems exist in other parts. We focus on ours, of course.
Yeah, because we have the Bramley Road account, and no other city has an account like that.
The worst is $6. The worst is $6 for this whole thing. Like take this. I think it was $6 that shared the news of how drivers in Brampton are driving on the wrong way on the 401 at 401 and Dixie, which is like not Brampton. It's Mississauga.
Yeah, 100%.
Like people, every time saying 401 in Brampton was this and this, I'm like, where does 401 come into Brampton?
I mean,
all Mississauga.
but let's face it, they're not talking about Brampton. They're just saying, it's Dissies. That's what they're trying to say, right?
That's where our argument falls apart.
I mean, Brampton's always
It is synonymous.
it's
Like,
always
Brampton,
been this.
synonymous.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
so
like,
with sorry, go ahead.
They're like people in Mississauga, Vaughan, like all the builders and developers live in Vaughan, and they built Brampton as like massive subdivisions and parking lots, right? People in Mississauga are like the upper class. You gotta live on the lake. You have a nice river going through. Like you're all nice and bougie like Oakville, but you're not Oakville, but you're not Toronto, right? Like, but they're in there. Brampton's like, hey, if you just move to Canada, go to Brampton, you'll find your people.
So how do we elevate our city? I mean, obviously you've made inroads with manufacturing and development on that side on a business perspective, but to your points, for people who do live here and maybe, even though we all kind of make fun of our own city, I mean, we all do have love for it. How do we ensure, what's the next step forward? How do we make it on par, if you will, with cities like Vaughan and thing? Is there a change in narrative in our own mentality, or is there something we need to do this around the city? Like a simple example would be from one, I can't stand the litter that has ramped up in the last 3 years. It's insane. On every street, and things like that have to be addressed. So there are some simple, what?
You're gonna make a complaint? Well,
no, I'm not making a complaint. I'm just saying that's a very small thing, right? Yeah. And that small thing gives a perception that you live in a, you want to talk classism, you want to say not a good area. When you go to Vaughan, the roads, everything looks exactly the same, but there's a wiser perception it's better to live there. Now, people will, blame, like you guys said, Dissies and this and that. But what is it? What do we got to do as a city? Is it services? Is it more community outreach? Is it more coming together? Like, what is it that's going to take us to the next echelon of a city to be respected when it comes to these conversations?
So, I would say there's two things. The second one is bigger, so I'll go to it after this. But the first one is more like what we can control ourselves as individuals. Like you said, is the generation before us, right? Like, and again, I'm from my family, I'm first generation here, but like people like, you guys, your parents are here, all of that, they never had time for this. Like they were just going to factories, working, driving taxi, driving truck, right? Like they didn't care what people said. They faced racism, they faced everything else, and they were like, just make a living, my kids are going to go to school, be educated, this and that. So they never had time to like develop this Brampton pride or like, that civic pride that Brampton's my city, I'm championing Brampton, right? But our generation has. Like I've seen the change over the last couple of years, like where athletes are on national TV saying I'm from Brampton. They don't say they're from Toronto. There's artists now that are saying I'm from Brampton. Like they're not saying they're from Toronto anymore, right? They're telling people they're from, like, that civic pride's coming with the next generations. I think like that's sort of like happening generically, like on its own, and like sorry, or organically, like on its own. But I think we got to start cultivating more of that. Like I know we always have the humor, but I guess that's coping in a way. You're just like ha ha ha, like we live in the ghetto, but we're not. Like this is it's an insult to like actual ghettos. Like it's not a ghetto.
Yeah, my
And
$2 million ghetto house.
and people would say like I live in Castle. Like, don't say that. Like, you're in Brampton, man. Like, Brampton's good. It's not the best. It's not the greatest, maybe, but it's really good. Like, there's a lot to enjoy in Brampton. So there's that one thing like that. I think that change is coming regardless. Like, the youth is as people are growing up here, they're having this civic pride that hey, I'm from Brampton. They start repping it. The second thing is the more important one is on the external, like with our governments, with everything else, like you said, like bringing those businesses here, bringing those well-paying jobs here, increases that corporate tax base more than the residential one, gives us money to start taking care of roads, start taking care of things. But one thing, like again, like going back to immigration, the airport, all of that, one thing we don't realize is Brampton is hands down, like statistically speaking, the fastest growing city in Canada. Like the like there's some like I would say like litmus tests for that, right? Like anywhere in Canada, if you look at transit service levels, like transit ridership, when you compare to 2019 pre-pandemic, most of the cities are sitting at 60-70% recovery rate. Like so whatever 2019 ridership was, they've only reached a 60-70%. But Brampton is at 160%. 160%. Like we're the anomaly. Like no other city has the same ridership. No other city has the same amount of population growth. On paper, we're 700,000. Realistically, I believe we're over 900,000. Right?
I feel like
So
we're
we
over a million.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think with the million, man.
we can all like estimate. Like I'm saying conservatively, we're over 900. Okay? But here's what happens. On paper, we're 700,000, the federal government and provincial government gives us this tax money for 700,000 people. They're not giving us money for 900,000 or a million people. So transit is already a subsidized thing, but now we're using it at 160%. It's a great problem to have, but we don't have the money to keep it going that way. Like we can't be 160% year after year. We're still on the whole hospital thing where we don't get that. Or parks. If you go to the parks on the weekend, there's like 250 people in a park, like legitimate head count. You're like, what the hell? Like, go to a park in Vaughan, you'll find maybe 10 kids. You're lucky if you find 10 kids at a park.
So I mean, to that point with the ridership and the discrepancy between what we provide in terms of numbers, do we have to take an inward look? And either there's two-prong approach. Either one, go to the colleges that have been accepting a lot of people and say, hey, you have to pay your fair share. At the end of the day, you're making a lot of money and raise a corporate tax or whatever you guys have to do on that end of it. And secondly, do you have to go over illegal residences? Because if that property tax is an X amount and it has to fund services like you're saying and has to make up the difference, there's always going to be a shortfall until we take a serious look as a city and say, you know what, yeah, we do want to be on another level, but everyone has to pay their fair share. Skipping out on property tax and the amount of, you have one guy as a city going, we always joke about this one guy who's going around and finding illegal basements. It's just common. It's for me, it's common sense. If you have some kind of housing controls and start putting some property tax, you are going to raise funds and that'll go back into services. But it's a topic no one wants to talk about in the city, right? Because it's going to come with hardship. So
And that's the thing. Like I was gonna say, like I'm gonna risk it and talk about it.
oh,
But here's the thing. Like it sounds very good on paper.
Yeah.
The onus is again on us, right? Like if I'm honest and I'm like I'm renting out my basement, let me legalize it. The process is there. Legalize it, pay the property tax, declare my income tax, blah blah blah, right? Like go through the whole thing. Sure, all services will get funded, right? How many of us are willing to do that? Like how many people, like in general,
Yeah.
are willing to do that? There's a question. Then enforcement becomes a question. Then affordable housing becomes a question. Like we live in these homes that are ridiculously expensive to rent, to buy, mortgage, everything. Like basements are ridiculously priced, everything, and that's why you see overcrowded basements, all of that. Like the city cares about legalizing basements, strictly from a health and safety perspective.
Hmm.
We don't want to see people die because of this. Like the revenue generation isn't even like top of the list of that. Like it's health and safety, but if we could, like, on paper it's great, right? Like I'd love that everybody would legalize their basement, declare everything, do it. Like it would work fine. Practicality wise, won't work. Like colleges, the whole argument, like during COVID, we saw it. I like, props to like international students. Like the economy survived. Like whether mainstream media want to acknowledge it or not, the economy survived because of them. There's only Punjabi Indian restaurants that opened up during pandemic. Opened up.
Yeah.
Like there's shops that are closing, like 50-year-old restaurants in the news, like closing and everybody crying. And then there's Brampton where there's restaurants opening up, like tiffin service opening up, this and that. Like they've got everything running, right? Like everything's been on these wheels like nonstop during COVID. Economy's been doing great. Like the whole reason industrial land is $5 million an acre is because somebody wants to put a distribution center, which is going to be employed by like most likely international students, new migrants. Like kids like aren't going to pick up those jobs. Kids are going to go to school and go to professional jobs, but you need people to come do these jobs. Like
Yeah.
the doors are open, and that's the only thing getting Canada going, right? But the problem is the immigration is like it's getting funneled through Brampton, right? Eventually, these people do move out. Like people, affordability, like you get priced out. Like there's so many people that live in Belleville now. People go to Kingston. People are like moving to North Bay. Like there's a huge Punjabi population in North Bay, in
Yeah.
Sudbury,
Yeah.
everywhere,
Yeah.
right? Like they're getting priced out. But those years, that transition period that they're sitting in Brampton, that population that's just sitting in Brampton, that's incredible. And it's like had like we should, honestly speaking, like being that city, like the federal government, provincial government, municipal too, like should drop more money to the city. Like, but we're just underfunded even for our current population. Like we should be proactively being like surplus funded.
But then are we just heading that route to always be deemed that city? Are we going to be able to kind of break away from that narrative and that label that, that we're just a mill of sorts of new immigrants? Is a city for them to flourish? Is it just manufacturing? Like, I mean, that's my question, right? I mean, that's at some point, and I'm talking from a parent perspective. I'm not saying it's a bad place to raise kids, not at all. But you're talking about future 20 years. Are my kids going to be here? Is this in one of those cities, or is it just for now? And I think, you said the onus is on us. I think the sad truth is a lot of people our age, even though we are, our parents did, raised us here, we always think about leaving constantly. It's always there. And maybe not Ranjit. I think he's here all the time, but the rest of us are constantly thinking about leaving. Not so much that we don't love it, the future. And I think, places like those other cities, they're not speaking about leaving. They're not landing spots. And I think if we can switch that kind of narrative about our city, however it is, obviously it's much more complex of an issue. For me, that's always been the case. I don't want to be the landing spot. And that's why our city is always seen as a second option or somebody in the back or something that doesn't matter. And it's sad that the federal government doesn't turn around, who's letting in all these students and newcomers turn around and say, well, we do need to provide some kind of system or to that city. But it's the federal government, and Shinda's probably waiting for Pierre to come and change
gonna
everything.
solve these. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys seen those people who've taken up shop on Steels in her Ontario lately. The anti-Trudeau crowd is here hard in Brampton.
They're anti-vaxxers. I drove by. It was
You guys seen him?
anti-vaxxers.
I just heard of him today. I was like, what the hell?
No, I drove by. I'm like, what's going on, man? Nagargeetan, and I looked around. I just go there. I was like, oh no, something's off. And it's Canadian flags, and I kind of knew what was going on. Anytime you see a bunch of Canadian flags, the sad truth is, it's an anti-Trudeau protest. So, yeah. I
think they're really coming after Brampton because they know Brampton's one of the biggest support hubs for him. So they're just setting up campaign here. Like, listen, we got to convince these guys. And I don't think it's helping. I feel like more and more people. You know what is helping though, and this is something I'm going to give you kudos to. Actually, I can give you kudos on a few things, but I was walking down a path around my house, and they've now developed outdoor gym equipment which is pretty dope. I don't know if you guys seen the scenario.
It's pretty cool.
No,
You
my
didn't
area
get that?
doesn't have
Well, you guys got shafted. Sorry for that, right? Well, we got like this nice like 4 kilometer trail, and along the trail they got like pull-up bars, dip stations. You know,
Yeah,
whether or not I
yeah,
use
full
them.
station, you stop and they named different.
Yeah,
things.
I mean, I probably won't ever touch him. But today I was walking by one, I saw a bunch of kids on one.
one day.
One day.
One
And
day.
aesthetic that we're a fit looking city. He just likes the aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, look, I saw that. I'm like, my kid's like, Papa, how do you use that? I'm like, I'll show you one day. And I was like, yeah, hopefully he doesn't have me again. Right? Like, last thing I need to do is try.
Only the video of
Yeah.
It's like, Dad, can you how to do a pull up?
But I mean, I think things like that are, and I feel like we have a lot of walking trails. I don't know how cool or not that is,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of trails if you like actually get out and start looking for them.
I'll give you. I'll give a shout out here respectfully to Gurpartap Singh. Gurpartap works a lot on the trails, and currently there's a trail called the
Like walking on the trails?
No, like
I didn't think so. Oh, I'm sorry, I had to.
There's
Sir.
a trail network. There's a long trail called the Stephen Llewellyn Trail, and Gurpartap's been working so long. There's like missing gaps in those trails. Once it's fully connected, it's gonna be one of the longest trails in like a city, in like any city.
That's crazy.
Oh, so he's like so all these trail systems, things like that, are working out right now.
Would that also, like the conservation, would that also then be solely under Brampton, or is that something that's still with the region?
No, so all the conservation is actually boards under the province. So Toronto Region Conservation Authority is separate, and the CBC Credit Valley conservation is separate. What happens is some regional councillors are just elected or appointed to sit on those boards, but we don't have authority over them. So there's like 2 or 3 regional councillors that sit on TRC and 2 or 3 that sit on CBC.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, kudos on these trails because these trails are pretty dope and they're really well like traveled in the summers. I was actually scared because I was going down one and I saw giant coyote warning signs where it's like, do not use these trails between dusk or dawn with your pets. And if you see a coyote, it more or less kind of just said you're fucked. It said, you know, don't run away, but also if it attacks, you know, don't try to fight it.
Come on, you could take a coyote. You could take a coyote on.
I don't know. I've never been toe to toe with one. I'm just saying it was kind of interesting.
Punch it in the face. Run.
In the tropical parks, I think you're the hippie type, so you would like this park. Is we're making a park where there's a park going to be at Sandalwood and Torbram for parkour.
Okay.
There's going to be a parkour gym.
All right, let's
Hold on,
face
slow down. We just talked about how this man can't use any of those parkour. That's quite the jump, my friend. Seeing Shinda jump. Have you seen he got hurt on a longboard, and we're talking about parkour.
Yeah, I'm kind of sidelined with the longboard right now, so I'm kind of not. I'm just recovering my ankle right now, but it does sound dope. Like maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah, that's cool.
That'd be like the office scene. Yeah.
Doing the parkour in the office.
That's exactly what I thought of right away.
All I'm saying though, I feel like there's something to be done with the 3 of us visiting this parkour park.
Yeah,
what's that? Brampton Civic Hospital, hoping there was another hospital.
No, fair enough. Gore Meadows, beautiful facility.
Yeah.
Amazing kids playground, amazing water parks, amazing libraries. Gore Meadows is hands down. I think Cassie Campbell is just as comparable.
Can I drop a plug for Gore Meadows? So we're doing the official opening of the activity hub outside, the new basketball courts, the new gym, all of that, the splash pad, everything that's outside that you see right now. We're doing the official opening on June 25th. And that's going to be also a community barbecue for wards 9 and 10, courtesy of Gurpartap Singh and myself. So everybody come out, bring your kids. We're going to have barbecue, food trucks, all of that, and you'll get some free goodies.
non-veg, right?
Non-veg. I was about to ask.
It's all exclusive food.
Yeah, so I don't know what you guys are doing there. Gore Meadows, it's a beautiful facility. I like keeping my kid there right now.
There's a new tennis, by the way.
I mean, I don't play tennis, so fuck that. But yeah, if I ever took up tennis, I'd give you something. You know what's dope though? We talked about this last time. Those scooters have taken off. I think those are a hit.
I love them, man. People love them.
I've never used them, but I see so many people on them.
Most people love them.
I live in Student Central. I see 3 of them hugging each other and riding down the street.
There's competitions now. So it started with 2 people. Somebody posted a video 3. Somebody just dropped a video 4 people. I'm waiting for the one with 5 people on it. Although, so disclaimer, it's meant for 1 person on a scooter. That's
Aren't they supposed to follow the don't you need a license?
Home, insert, be safe, all those things. Yeah, I got your back.
all of that. Don't try this at home, but I'm
Dude,
looking forward to
People are now able to
5
do their groceries without having to walk the 3 kilometers back. Holding, I feel like it's been a huge boon for a lot of people.
Is it quite pricey?
I don't know. I haven't tried
It is. I think it's like $1.40 to start, and then it's like 40 cents every kilometer or minute or something like that. So it's okay priced if you're trying to go from your house to groceries or to the bus stop. That's why they're doing like 4 guys on a scooter, because it's the joyride. You split the money. It's it adds up.
I'm surprised it can handle the weight, low key. But yeah, scooters. I was kind of. I don't know where this is gonna go. Scooters have taken off.
You seen the video? It's not guys like you, me, and everybody on this call right now on the scooter. It's like lanky kids that just got here that are
In the Cherry Hill Bananas, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, scooters have been dope. What else is really? I know you got a lot of flack for this because it was the first thing you did was the fireworks. I'm so glad that fireworks got banned. I'm in the minority there. I get shirked by everyone over this.
I'll stand by it.
Yeah. Did you get a lot of
like
shade on that?
I'll be honest, like it was such a big hit. Every time I went outside, people give me props for it. But the fact that I started getting calls from parents with kids with special needs, and they were the happiest out of everybody. And that
pet owners or dog owners would be really happy.
Yeah, pet owners 100% were happy, but it made it.
Not that I'm trying to draw a parallel between the two, but I'm just saying.
Election Diwali was the worst Diwali I've seen as far as Pataki go.
Was that the craziest?
That was terrible. That was India. That's what I seen in India,
India.
during Diwali. Yeah, that was bad.
Are we not having one like community one, like how they would have on Canada Day, or are we still doing that?
Yeah, so we're still doing Community Canada Day. Diwali is going to be the first time City of Brampton does Diwali. So we're going to do like a mela with fireworks, all of that. So you're going to see some local Punjabi artists on there too, like other music too. And New Year's Eve, those fireworks are still on. So that's the best time. Like we're gonna
Canada
play
Day, Diwali, and New Year's Eve.
Right?
Canada Day, Diwali, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
No Vaisakhi in there?
Vaisakhi is not a Pataka holiday. Come on.
Yo, Gurdwara used to do Pataki and Vaisakhi.
So what, you want to go Milla too, Shinda? You want to go to the musical Millas?
Nah,
Let's
I
go.
mean, I try to avoid going outside on any of those days, to be honest.
And I tried to get into a Tianda Mela, then he found out he's not in.
Yeah, that was crazy this year. They had the guys camped outside the middle of friggin' chirping the people as they went in.
Wait, what?
No, not the middle. It was the Vaisakhi Millas. Remember, there was some club or something was doing a Vaisakhi Milla, and there were people like booing them as they were going inside, and it was like, "What's going on?"
No, this is on your feed, man. I have no
Alright.
idea.
Your ears to the ground, eh, Shinda?
Ear to the ground. I was watching it. No, man. I feel like I know a lot of people hate on the city. The one thing I want to see, and I've been seeing it pop up, I'm gonna get so hated on by this, is maybe a fewer more bike lanes on bigger streets.
Come on, man, get out of here.
Dude,
Get out of here. We got traffic. We got traffic up the E-way. You want
Alright.
to make roads
all right,
smaller?
no,
What's wrong with you?
listen, leave Boverd and stuff alone.
Where are they going to ride their bikes to?
Working out, bro.
Where are they going to ride their bikes to? What's the argument? Who's going to ride a bike to work?
Not
He just
to-
talked about Brampton Transit having 170% ridership increase, and this man wants to put bike lanes.
Yeah, make it safer for those who do take bikes to get around. All I'm saying.
And then minus 20, you're going to be on a bike?
I want
I
people to
think
bike all the way to
Scooters
Pearson
are-
Airport.
Look,
That's where we're all going.
No bikes.
Put in their
Go on the
shit.
creek trail or whatever. Go do parkour. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking you should ride your bike to the factory. Save the environment. For your knees.
all I'm saying
I
is
would, I would
can't
take
go
the
wrong.
tax dollars spent on. I would take the tax dollars that would be spent on something like that and put it into the transit
Yeah.
and make the transit even more efficient.
Look,
You entitled Gora.
skip the
Yeah.
big roads, skip Beauvais, skip the 4-lane roads. There's like
Yeah,
there's
so
more
you
roads
got your
like North.
sidewalk. You should be happy. You got your house.
The-
What can you?
You can't go anywhere on the sidewalk because now you're afraid of hitting people and kids and pets. It's sidewalks aren't really a good place for bikes. You
Go
gotta
on
be
that
the road.
trail that you found.
Oh, no, sorry. There is a bike lane, Colonel Bertram in Brampton.
No,
You can ride up and down. There's bike lanes.
no, they're like North Park has a bike lane for
There you
sections
go.
of it. I'm just saying we need a few more of those that connect, make it safe to ride safely. Is all I'm saying.
Well, you can take that Colonel Bertram one, get into Tobago
Listen,
Creek Trail, go
we
all
live
the way
in
down.
Brampton, where the
get
number
to
one
another
rider. We live in Brampton, where the number one bike rider is Punjabi Babbe. Make lives for
that's-
them safer.
They go from their house to the park.
And all I'm saying is,
which has
make-
200 people at it.
let's spread it out. Let's
So maybe
let
we
them
need
go to the
more
other
parks.
park. Let them go to the other park. Let's make that road a little bit more accessible. Is all I'm hinting.
You
at.
want to make the senior network stronger than they already are? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you that you don't want to make them strong?
They're gonna conquer everything. They're gonna
It's not power.
change everything. The seniors are the most powerful people in the
They're
city, right?
Thanos
Yeah.
with the rings.
Look,
Yeah.
man, you build them, they will come. Like in your inner streets, you don't got to make the major streets. Leave the major roads alone. But the inner streets should have like
Brother,
some.
the regulations for house building has made the streets even more narrow in the last 10 years. There is no more street.
All
You
right,
can't
all right.
park cars on both sides of the road.
On that note, another thing I would love to see enacted is single side parking only on streets, so you don't get these double parked one way mayhems
I
like you
can
do
go
on
with that.
Whitwell, right? I
Yeah,
would
but
love
then the basements. Where are the basement people gonna park their cars?
the one
Yeah,
side that
man.
they can park. They don't got to park both sides,
Mm.
right?
Come on.
The city's doing a master plan for parking across the city. So when that comes up, keep an eye out for it.
1 lane parking, I think would be
Oh,
dope.
Like, we're gonna
that's
have our
gonna- that's
delegation.
gonna be a
We're gonna form a
disaster.
delegation and make this recommendation.
There's going to be
But
people taking the signs down.
you know what's crazy though? All the parks right now, I see crickets killing it right now. Cricket is so friggin'.
Crickets whip.
Yo, these speeding cameras,
Oh, the boxes?
dude, they always get vandalized. I don't think any of the ones in my neighborhood are working. Why do you just hang up high?
No,
It's a
shut up!
See,
Get rid of them altogether. They finally got rid of them in our block, man. This guy's like, hang them, make them harder to battle. Just get rid of them.
Honestly, speed bumps.
Speed
school
bumps.
zones.
I'm down for speed,
Speed
bumps.
bumps.
I like speed
Down for
bumps
speed down school
over.
zones.
Yo, only okay. Look, this is not to throw any shade at our guest, but only the Gora neighborhoods in Brampton get the speed bumps.
Straight up, yeah.
It's only Peel Village.
Dude, we had
Anything around City Hall.
a guy do a study. They put that little thing, and I watched it. Cars flying by that, and I guess the study decided no one was speeding. I'm like,
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm-
Only
I'm-
certain neighborhoods here that get it. We don't get it.
I'm only responsible for wards 9 and 10. You got a problem on your street, call me, email me. There's a lot of speed bumps now in wards 9 and 10. So I don't know.
Man, it's the
Yeah.
dudes with the friggin' Porsches and the friggin' Rolls Royces who are like, don't put a speed bump up, it's gonna hurt my friggin' shocks.
Yeah,
We've
no.
actually-
they're usually not the ones causing the trouble. It's the Hyundai Sonata flying down at 90 kilometers an hour, and you don't know what's going on.
Jeep Wrangler,
You know what I'm saying?
Charger, going down
Fine, the
Kingo.
Charger.
All right. I want to switch things up, man. Ranji, your cousin's killing it.
Yo,
Sukhdeep
suck,
Boxer?
man. 15-0. Pride of Moga. Killing it.
I saw the friggin' thing. Guru, you were there this weekend. Seemed like you got a table.
His entrance is just epic, man. The fact that he reps like Sikhi and Khalsa so hard.
That's new. That
Like,
wasn't
it's
his. That wasn't always his thing.
No,
It's been
he's done that
for a while now. For a while now.
The fight we went to
I've seen
when
it
his
the first time, but he's been doing this for the last few fights. And like his flag is like it's an old Brampton like Khalsa flag, and he walks into like a Banda Singh Darbar. And this is the first time though that they added a Nagara there. So there's a guy playing the Nagara.
That was new.
It was a really good. And he did this whole thing, like, yo, it gives you goosebumps, man. You get riled up. You're like, throw us all in there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's nice, 2 Indian guys fighting each other. Then as he came to the fight with that entrance, I was like, kill him. No, it was it's sick. And to your point, yeah, Gurpartap, I think he's been doing this since around the farmers' protest, right? That's when he changed
when
up
he
his
switched.
entrance. Yeah.
That's when he became Punjabi, not Indian type thing.
I mean, I don't want to put a label on him, but at the very least, I think that's when the entrance song changed and the theme changed a little bit.
Yeah, but he's
And he
kind
goes to India a lot, man. That kid goes to India a lot. I don't know if you guys know the backstory. I told you. I must have told on this
Yeah, you
podcast.
did
the
on one of the
backstory.
casts, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great backstory. It's a great institute or great like sporting
Plug it
institutes they
again.
run. Yeah, I mean, look, they pick up all the kids from the area that can't really afford good coaching, and they give them boxing lessons. They give them soccer lessons. They put them on teams. If training starts at 6 a.m., the kids are there at 5 on their own volition. They're all there an hour early, getting ready. They're turning things around, man. It's if we had 100 of those in Punjab, it'd be crazy. So there's not, but
So where's he training out of?
is great.
Is he
And
training out
then
of Brampton right now?
Sook's an example of like what can come out of it, right? There's young girls coming out of that academy too. They're great.
And you think they're going to be on this local scene like we see Sook? Like I heard he's getting broadcast on Dazen and stuff.
The
Zone.
The Zone.
Well,
Yeah.
His name's getting out
Impressive.
there. I knew his name was getting out there when I saw random sick Twitter accounts like talking about him. I was like, yeah. Then I was like, shit, we should have really capitalized and let people know we were the first ones to really introduce him, even though we only had 5 listeners back then.
He's opening doors the right way. I mean, I'm really hoping that a good fight internationally lines up for him because he's knocking on that door. He's knocking on that door. He's ready. So whatever it takes. Boxing is a really complicated sport, man. You need the right promoter. You need a high caliber fighter being like, yeah, I want to fight this guy to kind of make that happen. From my understanding. But I hope that happens for him because the kid deserves it, man.
No.
That's been crazy. And I think the moment I knew he was there was Guru, who only goes to or Gurpartap, I'm sorry, who only goes courtside Raptors, was courtside at this guy's fight. And I'm like, damn, he's made it.
Shinda, it's called ringside. This is why you will never go there.
All right, I'll accept it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Ringside tables.
of course.
But yeah, you weren't the only one. There was like a lot of people at this fight now, and I'm guessing a lot of them go on their own volition.
There was so many Punjabi people, man. Like it was insane. Like the place was like it was really good, and I guarantee because more people are coming out now, that that FOMO will drive out more people. I was at his first fight at CAA Central, like I think 2017 or somewhere around then. His first fight in Canada. And there were like maybe 10 Punjabi people there, like 6 over there. And I only heard about it because him, his coach, and like that family, everybody was giving out free tickets at the Scarborough Gurdwara. And I just got a free ticket and I just went. And there was like maybe 10, 15 people. But like...
What were you doing in Scarborough? That's the
Yeah, but this fight, when it happened... you could like Renji, you could tell when he entered, the entire arena was only cheering for this guy. The other guy got boos. Like this guy walked in, the entire arena was cheering. Like it was mostly up.
Yeah. We were in the stands, we were on the floor, but everybody's going wild for him. But it wasn't just Upney cheering for him; it was everybody. Like the Gore sitting next to me, they're like, "Man, this kid can fight! Man, this kid can fight!" He gets to a point. If you watch enough of his fights, you'll see like he gets to a point where he's got his range, he's in the zone, and he knows he can take the guy. Then he puts his hands down and fights with his hands down. And
That's who his biggest viewer was that day. Like his biggest person in the audience. There's Lennox Lewis.
Oh, he was there?
No.
Lennox
Wow.
watched the fight. Lennox Lewis was sitting ringside too.
I am Canadian.
Lennox Lewis won.
Fight. That's sick.
It was good.
But
That's-
Lennox
I hope-
Lewis.
Brampton royalty.
there we go,
Brampton
Brampton on the map right there, right? Brampton resident.
He lives in
Resident.
Brampton.
And
He's
he's
paying taxes.
Unlike some of these issues.
Paying his property taxes. Very odd. Yo, is there only really one guy going after like just
The basement.
Wait, what?
We have a rumor that we were probably.
No, it's not a rumor. It's not a rumor. There was an article in the paper where they hired one guy to find out all the legal basements. I will find the article for you. There's one guy, or it might be three now.
Brampton bylaws going around inspecting basements.
He's got the easiest job because he just
That's the
knows.
best job in the world.
Or is there a lot of people? Oh, he's not answering.
Or no, sorry. I got lost in the question. Say that again.
Is there only really one guy checking for illegal basements in the city?
No, so for basements, for any enforcement right now, it has to be. There's no proactive calls. Like you have to call and complain for someone to show up because if it was proactive, like you could just go like that's the whole job right there all day, just go and find illegal shit. But it's complaint based. So somebody complains and they'll assign a bylaw officer to go there and
So
check
it's
it out.
it's completely snitch
If
based.
you want to be proactive, I think the tell is where you see a car with 7 chargers in the driveway.
That's very easy. Very easy tell.
Illegal
How,
basement.
how about maximum occupancy in a basement? Shouldn't that be a thing?
I'll be honest.
Like from a safety standpoint, forget everything else. Just from a sheer safety standpoint, you can't have like 14 guys living in a basement.
But I think Ranjit could answer to that as a lawyer. I would say like so hard to prove like who's living there.
Yeah.
But yo, you know how you make this.
Cars from Saskatchewan and Prince Edward Island there, right? They're just visiting.
Could be
Bro,
anything, man.
This is here's $1 billion idea. Take it back to council. You can take all credit for it. I don't need my name in the media like that. All you gotta do is create a snitch line, which pays $100 for, or like a little 1% of the commission of whatever the fine is.
Yeah, a little bit of the
a fine. Or but you activate the snitch line, bro. The line will not stop ringing. You'll have guys going around doing the save up for you. Be like, there's a basement here. I got this one. I got this one. They're collecting that fee. They'll do the job for you. You'll save so much money. You don't need to.
For context, Shinda also is a big fan of Harper's terrorist hotline as well.
Yeah,
He's
and,
all about
old stock Canadians. That's his.
Bro, I grew up.
He puts
when
that
they
on
had,
his gym T-shirt, not Superman, just old stock.
Snitch lines work. I seen them. I watched The Wire. It works.
As long as Shinda's shorts don't say old stock, we're cool.
They may as well at this point. Oh shit! I don't even know if I should be sharing this. I started. So, Robbie, you were right. 100,000 steps isn't that much. Did that in like 10 days. You were right about that. Horrible challenge, right? So yeah, obviously, I had that incident where I saw some sweat where I shouldn't be. Decided, you know what? I'm gonna get my David Goggins on, and I started moving a little bit. And as I'm moving, I'm getting. Hold on, where the fuck am I going with the train of thought? Totally just evaporated.
And that's the podcast, folks.
And that's the podcast. Holy shit! What's the train of thought here? It was very insightful. I had a really insightful thing to say because I always do. But yeah, thank you for joining us.
10,000 steps.
When you said David Goggins, I just imagine Shinda standing in his bathroom in front of the mirror saying, "You little bitch, you little bitch."
Listen, you don't gotta imagine that's 100% what I do.
With boob sweat. Don't forget the boob sweat.
That's 100% what I'm doing. I'm. So I had this thing where I was like, you know what, Punjabi dudes sings who freaking pose with their shirt off. Man, you guys are these thirst traps. You got to stop it. It's not respectable. My goal right now is to get to the point where my body, I can pose without a shirt and make a thirst trap. I'm doing it. Screw that shit. I'll be a hypocrite. I'm taking it back. No, literally.
And what's the deadline? What's the deadline on this project?
No, there is no deadline. Every time I put a deadline on anything I do, nothing gets done. I'm done putting deadlines on everything. I'm just trying to
We're gonna
be
get
the
a
best
doctor
version
on
of
the
me.
show soon and get him to walk us through the safe way of taking steroids. Middle-aged men.
I need testosterone injections. I don't know. No, I know exactly where I was at. So because I had that incident, I started trying to get in shape. I've been doing, getting out, touching grass. I go on Google because obviously I, encountered some chafing. So I searched chafing remedies. The first thing that comes up is, do you have itchy balls from walking? Google is so freaking smart. And I was like, holy smokes. And I was like,
Get out of my head.
I wonder your AI talks are like.
oh man, it was the weirdest thing. But I didn't realize there was a thing. There's oils you can get that help reduce chafing.
Why the fuck are we talking? What are we doing?
Why?
Anyway,
Oils for shaving. Really?
There's a reason you gotta use Sarong da Tel. That's it.
Yeah.
anyways,
That's
I
gonna
digress. I digress. Anything you guys want to end off on, or
I just know I'm gonna get a call. I'm gonna get a complaint tomorrow of a man running around in a park bare chested with Sarong da Tel on his body. And there's
Slipping
kids
off,
calling and-
slipping off the workout features that you guys have installed in the trails.
There's oil.
Leaving it
There's
oily.
oil on the-
dude, you don't understand. If I ever
And escaping on his longboard.
Parkour.
oh man, I can only imagine the stupid injuries I'd try to get if I would try to like do anything parkourish. I'd like jump off a wall face first into the other wall, boom, flat. I ain't rolling enough. Nah, that's too
how long
dangerous.
before there's a video on Brampton Road with the parkour park? Something's gonna happen, guaranteed.
and more content. Hey, on that number one tip, if you want to stop Brampton hating, everybody that's watching this, listening to this, unfollow Six Bucks right off the bat. That's not your news source. It's not your Brampton hate source.
That's fair.
That's
I'll
fair.
do the unfollow.
I mean, I've never
Even
my
buddy's an auto
Shinda went real quiet.
but it's just because like the eye is on Brampton all the time, man.
Yeah, but it's easy target, right?
I mean, they're just really
Brampton.
taking content from Bramley Road.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nah, man, I feel like the city's going in a good direction. You guys got any final things you guys want to close off on? Words of wisdom.
Yo, I don't think Gurpartap needs his bleep.
No, it was
We offered
perfect.
him one bleep. He gets one bleep.
I think Shinda needs the bleep with the oil talk.
Let's just
Uh,
something weird and bleep out.
It's-
Yeah. What do you think of
Yeah.
Patrick? Oh, bleep it out.
that was good. That was good.
No, I got nothing, man.
That's it.
And Guru's gonna get, if you were looking for a job at the new Lululemon factory that's opening up, or the new offices, hit up Gurpartap. He's got that inside link for
Look
employing.
at the resume to the top of the pile.
I only got 2 messages from that announcement. Number 1 was, "Can I get a job?" Number 2 was, "What's the discount code?"
Yeah. Oh,
Which you're
man.
gonna share
I need
with
to
us
leave.
once we're done, right?
Special discount code for the Dub Squad.
The No
Yeah,
Doubt
yeah.
Squad discount code. All right, man. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, sir.
Hopefully, we have
Thank you
time
for your service.
in the next. Thank you for your service, guys.
Is that what you say? It's a thing. I think it's a thing.
Is this guy the freaking Navy SEAL or some shit?
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Shinda, take off your shirt and give me a salute. That's it.
Oh man, I get banned from YouTube for that. This is it's not viewer friendly. It's not life friendly right now. But know this. This is a friggin' fact. The second that I have any form of deltoid,
Definite.
pectoid, or any sort of muscle, that shirt is coming on, and I'm putting it back on for the entire. It'll be winter. I'll go snowboarding without a shirt if I got freaking deltoids or pecs or whatever. To find, I don't even know what half these muscles are. I'm just talking shit. Anyways,
All right.
peace.
Peace.